only thing, Madam President, the only thing I would add here is that, given a lot of the recent policies from the administration, I think the timeliness of this work at the local level is so important and critical. And I would just challenge you, Director, to go beyond the things that we're currently doing and to evaluate going forward of what we can do minus the support of the administration. And I know these conversations are happening, but I wanted to say it publicly so that the public knows that that we're trying to figure out the sort of new world order, if you will. It is through our DE&I office that we're sort of charging with the lead to evaluate and assess that, along with our policy team, Kevin Pengrass and those who support him. And so I just wanted to emphasize that here, because each day there seems to be a new executive order that has local implications. And the federal government can do what they are authorized to do in that concept, but we have to figure out our local role and the use of local resources to support our residents. And there are a lot of folks who are currently in the queue in regarding our settlement houses or settlement agencies, and we've got some real evaluation to do at the local level to figure it out. So and I'm not sure where this contract fits in the bigger concept of that, but it's in the realm of that. And so I'm looking forward to the continued conversation about our going forward with to support those residents with us. Madam President, may I take a personal point of privilege at this time? I was going to wait to the end, but if it's up to you, you can make it wait to the end, or I can do it now.
Go ahead. We can go ahead and do it now.
Okay, thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to say, I know since we're on DNI and this is the last resolution, I interject now, and Commissioner O'Grady really triggered my thoughts here. I know most of you saw the media from last week where I was invited by the Veterans Administration to come and speak on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. It wasn't his day, but it had been moved for several reasons that they moved it. The original date, one was Jimmy Carter's passing and reflection and honoring of him, and then so it landed on the day last week in question. And so I was invited months ago to come and deliver the keynote speech to potentially over 1,000 veteran clients, employees, people affiliated, you name it. And 2 hours before the event, I got a call from them saying, we're looking forward to you attending, but wanted to make sure you knew you were not allowed to speak about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And my response was, well, I really believe that diversity, equity, and inclusion is synonymous with MLK Jr. Day. To me, and they had asked me to talk about my own story, and their theme was adversity, a triumph through adversity. And so again, I felt all those things were right up my alley. Those are things I enjoy talking about, especially on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And so I respectfully declined to participate. And I say that because I think if there was nothing that you picked up from the media coverage and the discussion, it should be this. That discussion needs to happen. Whether or not, whatever side you fall in on diversity, equity, and inclusion, we should run toward the conversation, not from it. And so from my standpoint, the difference for me giving that speech today with the requirement that I couldn't say it was that then as an agency, we don't share the same values. And from my standpoint, that's not what I'm going to utilize my time to talk about something that's very important to me for. And so I say that to say, and to to Madam Director here, I really feel like this is an opportunity for Franklin County to lead in this conversation. I think that, and then I got one thing to say to Commissioner O'Grady about this. I really think it's our opportunity to lead. We've done tremendous work, and I've been on this board for 8 years now, and it is night and day. If you did a comparison of the previous years, and I'm not saying it's on me, it's not. it has truly been led by people like Commissioner O'Grady and former Commissioner Marilyn Brown. I can assure you that behind the scenes, they have been as passionate, if not more, about this conversation. And that's why we have the progress. That's why we have a DE&I office. But I want to say this to Commissioner O'Grady. It will be folks like yourself that look like you that will help us make the biggest gain in this conversation. And it has over the last 8 years. I've seen it.
Yeah.
When you know, I think there's an expectation from folks like Commissioner Crawley and I, whether it's women perspective or issues or African American perspective issues. There's a level of expectation that comes with, and I embrace that, and I own that as part of it. I know Commissioner Crawley does too. She's a very vocal advocate. But Commissioner O'Grady, I will say, we've made, I feel like, the most progress in this conversation as an institution, because of folks like you.
Mm-hmm.
And I really mean that. I mean that when you peel back the layers, and I can't leave out Commissioner Brown, former Commissioner Brown either. When you peel back the layers and the real tough conversations have to be had, and the decisions have to be made, your leadership is even more important than Commissioner Crawley and I. And I think you've stepped up to that plate, and I think you've delivered time and time again. You've been true to the cause, true to the conversation, and embrace this. And I challenge our county as an institution to continue to make the progress even in the face of the challenge of our federal government. You know, I always say that sometimes in politics I feel like I'm swimming against the current with ankle weights on. And we've got to take that attitude. I'm swimming against the current with ankle weights on, but you can best believe I'm going to make it to the other side. You can best believe I'm going to dig deeper and strive harder for that goal. And that's what I challenge us to, where I challenge us all to be in this conversation. You know, it's just beginning. We're a week into the new administration, a week. And the changes are dramatic, and you might agree with some and disagree with others. At the end of the day, what will define us most is our own value set, the things that we say as a community, not what the three commissioners say, or the commissioners and the prosecutor and the auditor and whatnot. It's not what we say. We represent the masses, and that's what representative democracy is. It is, we're you. We are just charged with carrying the conversation of the masses in policy. And if that is the directive of this United States in terms of what our president represents, then it's still our job to represent the community that we're charged to represent. Mm-hmm. The 1.3 plus million residents that live, work, and play in Central Ohio. And so I say that because I wanted to, acknowledge Commissioner O'Grady and his commitment and work. You don't see it out here as much as we do behind the scenes. And I know there are commissioners around this county, the state, like Pete Gherkin, who have been in the trenches in Lucas County, who have been in the trenches and stood up when the time came, and stood for something when the moment was there. And so is Commissioner O'Grady, and so is former Commissioner Brown. And I think it's important for you to know that as we go forward, because I don't think this conversation is going to be easier. I think it's going to get tougher. Mm-hmm. I think we'll have ankle weights on, and then we'll have arm weights on now. And that's the challenge. But if we, stand strong, prepare, and stay ready, we can get to the other side. It's just going to take the strife that we have to go through to get there. And so, Madam President, thank you so much for giving me this moment. There's been so much said. I've had 1,000 interviews for it, and I can't be more proud to represent. And Commissioner O'Grady texted me and said, I appreciate something to the effect of I appreciate what you're doing, representing us well, and that means a lot because we do this together. We're a team, we're a family, and believe me, it is going to impact each of you. Thank you, Madam President.